In today's spirituality, I'm going to be talking about the farce of being a monk or a priest or some such position by itself. By itself, being a monk is not a problem, or being a priest or being a sadhu is not a problem in across any religion. The problem happens when you only do this work and you don't do any other work. you know some of you may like to, so as I will progress and I will start to talk about the farce of being just a monk or a fakir or a sage, and you may like to at some point ask me, who are you to say this about anybody who's so big with meditation, or who are monks or people who are priests, and that it's not okay to just be that, and you should be doing something else as well. So my answer to that is, if you want to know who I am, you should check my spiritual might in the description box. Normally it's not okay, or people wouldn't, or nobody would tell their spiritual titles or how gifted they are spiritually. The reason I say it is because of the nonsense and the shit I see in this world, and how political leaders are literally driving this world to ruins. And it's just my disappointment that how people at prime minister, presidential positions, people who are trillionaires, billionaires, have a mental ability which is so pathetic that they shouldn't be prime minister and presidents and trillionaires and billionaires. They're just creating ruins for this world. And I say it as a position of, almost in the position of God. I hold the position of Lord Vishnu. I am the Mother Mary itself, the Allah itself, Guru Nanak itself, Buddha itself, Goddess Lakshmi itself. You keep naming it. That's how big are my spiritual titles. And I have been able to unlock these spiritual positions and might only by being at work and how my conduct is with people. So, anyhow, I wanted to talk about a disappointment to just be a priest or a monk or any such thing all your life, and how you may never really experience any spirituality, and you may just keep doing your prayers and then die very disappointed. It's very important for me to show path to people because of how much I know spiritually, and guide people to the right path. There was once, I read about something. So I don't take the name. Actually, I can take the name of the people and the places to give an example, but I would rather not, because let's just stay to the just stay anonymous and not take names. So I read about this one spiritual experience where someone said that there was a very big saint, very very big saint, and his ability was, he had reached a position spiritually where he could show up to people. Even when he would not go to meet them, he would still show up in person to people. He had some miracles to show, and so on. So once, this very big saint, he was talking to someone, and then he became quiet, and After what looked like maybe some 5 minutes or 10 minutes, this saint opened his eyes, and with lot of sadness he said to the person he was earlier talking to, he said, that other sage passed away. And he said, give me 2 spoons of water because my mouth is very dry, and he died very painful death. So what had happened was, this saint, who was at a absolutely amazingly very high spiritual level, he experienced, or he got a hit of another sage passing away, and his death experience was felt by this saint. So when that sage is dying, this saint is experiencing his death and moments of death, of how that sage's first mouth went dry, and then he wanted to drink some water and he couldn't because of old age. He did not have any water around him. There was nobody around him to give anything, and he just died with a very dry throat and a very painful death in his last moments. So this saint experienced that death, and he told to the person he was speaking to earlier on, that this sage just passed away, and give me 2 drops of water or 1 spoon of water, because his mouth had also gone dry, experiencing that other sage dying, who was far, far, far away. See, I have spoken about this before, that spiritually you will get a certain experience of emotional hit when you see a vision or experience something about someone. So, for example, no, but this happens to people who are at a very elevated level spiritually. In visions, a lot of times I have seen people who looked very different. I have also spoken about how I saw someone as a dog in my vision when he's actually a human, but I saw him as a dog in the vision. And the way I recognized him as a dog was the emotional hit that I got. So, the same thing is happening with the saint here. When this saint, who's at a very elevated level, he experienced the death of another sage, and how his mouth dried up, and then how painfully he died because he couldn't get 2 drops of water, you know, and he died very, very difficult death. And this was told by this saint, who said that that sage has passed away and he died very painful death. Now let us understand this experience. See, first and foremost is, you should know, no matter how much prayers do you do, how much meditation you do, at the end of the line, there is, or there may be no God waiting for you. There may not be no spiritual experience that will come along to you. And there may be no divine gift being showered on you. So, someone may say, if I'm a saint, or I'm a sage, or I'm a priest, or I'm a monk, and if I pray for 50 years, how can it be, or maybe 80 years or 90 years, how can it be that at the end of the line, or at the absolute, even at my death, I don't get a spiritual or a divine experience? The answer to that is, God does not have to oblige to anyone. The divine does not have to oblige to your prayer. It will show up to a person it deems who's done a lot and has its own meditation going. You know what is the sadness of living a existence of a monk or a priest or a saint or a sage or anything? The sadness of living that existence is you may actually die without any spiritual gift or divine shower. When a easier meditation was always available to you and nobody told you. If anybody ever wants to know, as you're listening to me, if you ever want to know what meditation do you do, or if you want to ask me what meditation do you do, what is your meditation routine, how do you go about doing meditation? I do have a meditation routine, but this meditation I do is for a very different reason. I have had divine gifts and awakening without any meditation or some other kind of meditation which even you can do, and that meditation is your work. The day you understand your work and to do it truthfully and sincerely, you are already in meditation. To issue the correct tickets, to give the exact change or proper change, to be fair, to treat people properly, having the best of conduct at heart or in your dealings, doing even smallest of things with great perfection or niceness or neatness and with proper schedule and routine is meditation. So everybody in this world is actually doing meditation. You don't have to go around looking for a new form of meditation. Someone will say, "Can you tell us what meditation do you do?" Okay, let's write down 10 points. Now let us go to someone else and ask, "Can you tell me what meditation you do?" and write down 20 points. And then let's just, jot down and make our own 5 points and then practice that meditation. No, you don't need something so complicated and hi-fi and some a different path. A path of meditation is already been given to you, which is to go to work, to make this world a better place, with you doing the best of things at your work or the most right thing, and your conduct and dealings with people being the most right. you know I had one once during Corona. I was stuck in one place for some time, and in this lodging where I was stuck, there was another girl who was stuck as well. And she always spoke about how she's from a very well to do family, how she spends a lot of money. And then one day she ordered one cake over the phone, and we have these services like Uber Eats. So there's an Indian version of also Indian version of food delivery called Swiggy. So she had ordered through Zomato or Uber Eats or something, a food delivery app, and she got one cake ordered and delivered to her. And it was a huge cake which costed about 650 or something. And this is Corona times when food is getting delivered but you can't really step out, those times. So the cake came and she enjoyed the cake with her boyfriend. And then she tells me, you know I put a bad cake review on that app and I asked for a refund. I said, "You asked for a refund?" I said, "That was a big cake." She said, yeah, I just told them that cake was stale. I said, but you finished the whole thing? She said, but they don't know this, that we finished the whole thing. She said, I just wrote that we threw it away or it is stale and I took the refund. I said, why would you do that? She said, because it tasted a bit stale. I said, but you finished the whole thing. Now imagine this person, after stealing from someone or lying to someone and doing this to someone who's running a small business of their own, then goes on to make a charity of 20 rupees somewhere by fleecing someone of 650 rupees, and then goes and make charity of 30 rupees or 50 rupees. What good is it going to bring to her? But this is what is increasingly happening with the world of billionaires, trillionaires, millionaires, presidents, prime ministers. They're first ruining everything. They're stealing from people. They're forcing a certain development on people. They're forcing a very big price position on people. They're pricing their products so big and so high. They fleece from you and then they go and do charity. Will that charity bring any good to you? No. That charity is not going to bring you any good. If you had a charitable heart, you wouldn't squeeze in the first place. You wouldn't fleece in the first place. And the reason they do it is because they don't understand meditation and they don't understand spirituality. Meditation is your work. You being at work is meditation. So, a lot of people who say, okay, I'm looking for a meditation retreat or something, it's okay to go to those retreats, but don't pay off big money looking for a meditation course. If you want to be doing meditation, just get on to your work with full heart and your mind on. If you're supposed to be at your office at 9:30, be there at 9:30. If you're supposed to be meeting people, talking to them and helping them and listening to them, then do it with full heart. And when you are headed home, come back home and you know be there for whatever is to be done at home. Be this very real person and treat everything that you do as a meditation. I am only 43 and I've had spiritual experiences from as early as from my teenage years, and at the age of 30 I had a very huge life changing spiritual experience which I can't talk about because my recorder can't take a talk time of more than 20-25 minutes, so I can't even talk about that experience online. Or maybe some one of the days when I get the recorder I will do the talking. you know just be great at your conduct and at your work, and the meditation is already getting taken care of. So, I just want to say the sadness of someone being a monk or a priest or a saint or a sage or some such thing for 50-80 years and every day waking up and doing that chanting, praying, and whatnot, doing all that needs to be done, wearing the most nice perfumed spiritual clothes, and then you have nothing to show for. You know why? Because you're not interacting with the world. You're not in that difficult position where you should decide. You're not winning over your mind and heart. It's not being put to test. So if you are a monk or a priest or a sage or a saint, or in any religion, Hindu, Islam, Christian, Buddhist, Sikh, any religion, don't just be praying. You may next to never have any spiritual enlightenment or awakening. Or even if you have, it may come after, you know, praying 24 hours a day. And when it's easier to just do meditation of being at work for 8 hours, and then you're good. So I just wanted to talk about the farce of being somebody meditating or a monk or a priest or some such thing, and then just dying without any spiritual touch or awakening or experience. So when I shared that experience, when the saint says that that sage died very sad death or very painful death, the saints or people who are spiritually awakened don't die sad deaths. Their souls just leave the body like a flower. They just, it just moves out like a fluid thing or like a cloud from your body. If you were a priest or a saint, sage, any such thing all your life, and during death you had the most painful death because your soul wouldn't leave your body, or you just died, breathless or in very painful situation, spirituality, you really never touched any spirituality milestone. It's very sad for me to say this, but as a whatever meditating person you are, you should know this, and that you may end up with a farce of meditation and prayers. And the easiest way to achieve something in meditation is to be treating your work and your conduct with people as meditation. Be very genuine and real there, and things will, you know, spiritually blossom faster for you than to be, seeking a certain meditation or a spiritual path. So, this was the talk for spirituality today.